Reports from beyond the stars. "Miss Eastman, is there anyone else with you?" the receptionist asks, and Janet shakes her head. "No, this is just a letter from my son to me," she says, and the receptionist nods with a huge smile. "You know something? Part of my job is to vet these videos and draw up the important NDAs in case something important is let out in these videos. And I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but Commander Daniel Eastman is either a very funny man or in about a mile over his head." "Excuse me? That could be bad. Just get in there and try not to laugh too hard." "Oh dear," she says as she rushes into the room. She was well put together for her age. A lifetime as a waitress certainly helped, but the last few months were really easy as she learned that her little boy had set up his payments to come to her automatically. Not all of it, but more than 3 times her regular paycheck. She was going to work just to hang out with her friends now. The money was just a perk. She finds the seat that looks like it's the least broken in and sinks into it with a sigh of contentment. Life had never been easy, and now her boy was so far away. She was worried, very worried. Hey Mom, things are going, Her Daniel, resplendent in a loud Hawaiian shirt with flamingos all over it, and a mustache that makes him look like he's trying to replace the main character of Magnum P.I. "Well, they're going." There's a banging sound, and he immediately looks to his right in shock before a blur of yellow and black swarms him, and the video crashes. The video resumes, and he's once again in front of the camera, this time looking frazzled with numerous hickeys and lipstick smears around his neck and face. He's also inexplicably wearing a pair of welding goggles on his forehead. Right, anyways, there's a lot to unpack. I've been stationed on a space station that's signed up with the Earth Foreign Legion. It's got a stable populations in the millions, numerous distinct cultures, and I've been all but locked down into Deck 4 of 8, the Hivers. Most of the people on this deck are really short but productive, including the girls I've been married to, jumped on by. I'm not sure how to properly say it. It was the biggest booty call to ever happen, and now they're all in love with me and lust as well, so things are just... There's a sudden rush of black and yellow bodies as hundreds of forms tackle him from above with a distinct buzzing noise until what looks like to be a plastic surgery-addicted midget crossed with a bumblebee and wearing only the latest in punk chic lands on the top and gazes at the camera before taking aim with a gun that's glowing yellow. Then the entire pile bursts upwards as Daniel takes control of the situation with a roar. Even more of the punk bee women start flying in, and Daniel grabs something from inside his shirt, and there's a huge bang alongside a flash of blindingly bright light. Then the light fades to reveal Daniel has the goggles down to protect his eyes. "You girls should know by now that I'm not someone to take lightly," Daniel says in galactic trade as he smirks down at them. A new bee woman zips up. Her right arm is a clunky-looking machine with a gun clearly incorporated in and a bright pink mohawk for hair. They regard each other for a moment, and then the video skips again. "So we've reached a compromise," her Daniel says, sitting down in front of the camera with the insane punk bee midget in his lap and smirking. "I get to make this message in peace, and I have to shave off the mustache." "Oh my God," Janet says to herself. "Also, I have to let the Hive Queen here say a thing or two. Basically what happened is that I got turned around on this space station, so when I was trying to seduce some high-end rich girls with how thirsty the galaxy is, I messed up and walked into the middle of berserker territory. I got jumped and they kept calling in gang members, and after a few days of that, and, well, once they consider you on their team, then you only have to worry about them being too nice to you. That and random acts of forceful affection, as you saw earlier." Random acts of forceful affection. He's being raped, Janet protests, standing up in a fury. "I know it looks bad. It is bad. But, well, I could have escaped the whole time. There is no way I can explain this without it sounding really, really bad. But take heart, I'm not a victim. I'm as much in control. The fact that I can flashbang these girls and they find it more entertaining, and when I put my foot down, they respect it. I doubt that. Right, so I've been married by alien standards to 200 women that have banded together in a criminal organization on a pirate station. Yes, Octaren Spin is a pirate station. He's fallen in among criminals. So yay, criminals. But that's more of a, I don't really know how they're criminals beyond location. Octaren Spin is a pirate station and the definition of the rough side of town or even the hood. But, they run a hydroponics farm. They grow fruits and vegetables, but they act like the biggest gangbangers and thugs. They spend their days pollinating flowers and watering plants when they're not stalking Deck 4 and looking to break kneecaps. It's insane. Gardner gangsters, Janet says in an utterly confused tone. So yay, 200 girls that cannot get enough of me at all. Not sure how to take that, Daniel says. I've been making my way on this station, beating down those that won't work with me and rewarding those that will. Keeping order in this place is insane. I need advice. I think I'm doing the right thing. I'm not only keeping order, but I'm ensuring that this place stays together and becomes a better place to bring people to. And a place that might help the EFL. I wish I could say it's not dangerous here, but I don't go into public without a weapon, if not several. I've had to kill people in order to keep things sane and sober. Daniel's cut off when the bee woman in his lap rolls her eyes visibly and clamps a hand around his mouth. Hey, this is being sent out to my man's mama, right? Well, listen here, lady. Don't let his moping and doping and whining and bitching get you down. Yeah, we do things different than you little humans. Yeah, we jumped your boy. And you better be grateful. There's worse out there than a Sharbus hive, let me tell ya. She blurts out, and it's captioned easily. Janet merely glares at the screen and crosses her arms. And don't go all huffy either. Sure, the Gravids are more gentle, but if you don't want your boy suffocated in softness, then he can't do better than the Berserkers. Daniel reaches out and pushes down the now hovering bee woman so he can look clear over her head. She then swats away his hand and starts styling up her mohawk once again. So yay, not what I thought it would be, not what anyone expected. But here it is. I don't know if this is the right path, then. Daniel starts thinking out loud and the bee woman rolls her eyes once more. Girls, front and center. He's thinking too much again. She calls out to the side and the tide of yellow and black kicks off again. Shit goggles! He's got a... There's a bang and a blast of light, and when it clears, there's a horde of tiny bee midgets wandering around in a daze as Daniel sits up with his goggles on. Yeah, not really much to say beyond the fact I generally don't have much to really complain about, at least beyond navel-gazing, and you can always find something to bitch about if you look hard enough. I'm getting paid well beyond anything I ever expected. The very idea of not having a girlfriend is literally laughable. Daniel continues as the pink-haired mohawk having girl recovers enough to climb onto his back to illustrate the point. I know you're whining again, so stop that. Stop it. I will hump the unhappiness out of you. She threatens and he rolls his eyes. Sure, things aren't what you wanted, but damn it, I will make it work. Right. Well, I'm serving as one of the main command crew on the station, so if worst comes to worst, I can, have, and am being actively encouraged to throw belligerent assholes out the nearest airlock, Daniel says before chuckling. That's been done so much that there are parts of the station that actually have enough atmosphere to breathe on. The view from it. To walk out into outer space and need only a basic rebreather is amazing. Of course, being hit by micrometeors is annoying as hell and hurts like well, needless to say, there's bad to go with the good and good to go with the bad. Sure, I didn't expect to be dogpiled by literally hundreds of bee women. But damn if they can't cook up a storm and aren't dedicated to making sure I have more than enough no matter what. "Are you moping again?" she asks. "I'm thinking again, Zabreza." He answers and she snorts. "What did I tell you about thinking?" she asks, before outright Frenching him. "Stop it." "But Daniel protests and she kisses him again, hovering just beyond him. "Stop it, you stupid sexy monkey," she protests before flying into him and cuddling close. "Why do you have to smell so good and kiss so well? Stupid worrying monkey man." "Yeah, the aliens are crazy and effectively get addicted to humans. Something to do with pheromones? I don't get it, but when I tried to take advantage of it, I got turned around and ended up on the doorstep of these girls. They jumped me and there was almost a fight. I suppose if I didn't want it, I might have... Fuck it. Fuck it. Love too." Zabreza coos and tries to fly up at Daniel, and he puts his hand between her antenna and easily pushes her away as she giggles. "So yeah, things sound bad, but I'm doing fine. It's very tough but very tight around here, and that I've got the command crew and my own private army of bee women to back me up. The bad news is that there are a lot of kids on the way. These girls don't believe in condoms or self-restraint." "Oh dear God," Janet mutters. "Look, again, I know it looks and sounds bad, but I'm not like a sex slave or anything. They really care and there may be danger, but I can handle it. This is going." "Girls, he's moping again," Zabreza calls out to the rest and immediately flies up to smother his head between her breasts. The swarm seems to come alive and he's buried under a pile of the bee women. They're shifting and scuttling around before Zabreza lets go and heads in front of the camera. Her head tilts to the side. "I don't know what you do or how you do it in cruel space, but out here a girl's got to jump on a chance to get her man, and if not us, who are the type to grab on and hold on. We may like to play rough, but we play to keep. Other girls on this station? They're the have your fun and then do something awful types. So don't worry. We'll keep him safe without throwing him in a cage. Hard to get a better deal than that, eh?" "Oh dear God, Zabreza," Daniel protests as the pile shifts hard as he rises up with ease. "All right, off, off, off." They refuse to disperse, and there's a strange movement before another massive bang and a huge flash of white light causes her to blink again. The light clears and Daniel is standing tall over the dazed army of bee women with his welding goggles firmly affixed. "There is no way in any way, shape, or form I can make this look good. There is no way, shape, or form I can convince anyone that I won't look like I'm some kind of rape victim. But I'm in control here. If I wanted to be gone, I would be gone. I've decided to go with this because I want to. Sure, the initial surprise was a hell of a thing, but I chose to keep going. I could have escaped at any time, and I could escape now. I choose not to. And that just makes me sound like this is Stockholm. Jesus Christ, I'm only digging this deeper," Daniel explains, lifting the goggles and looking conflicted. This is a situation that no human's ever been in before. You know what? Screw it. I'm doing fine. I'm not going to cover things up. I'm not going to bullshit. There is no perspective from the outside looking in that doesn't make this look god-awful. But it's not. I swear to God, it's not. Yes, they took the choice out of my hands, sort of. But they would gladly take a bullet for me. Each and every one of them values my life above their own. "Stop moping," Zabreza shouts as she jumps on him and shuts his mouth with her breasts. "Moping is horrible. The plants pick it up and the girls pick it up and everyone picks it up and then everyone's miserable. No moping." Daniel then peels her away from him with a steady grip and sighs before speaking in galactic trade. "I'm trying to convince my mother that I'm not being abused. You jumping up to smother whatever I have to say isn't helping. And if I say that the heart of a Sharbis hive is more valuable than literally everything else, if I tell her that if walking out an airlock means you live just one more minute, then I'll do it. The question isn't what you say or what I say. It's what she'll believe. You girls are way too eager for her to not think something horrible happened." So she'll do what then? Come charging in slinging plasma and firing lasers. She's a little far away and the image crashes, and now it's just an exhausted-looking Daniel sitting in a chair and holding the welding goggles. He's fiddling with them and takes a deep breath before throwing them away and shrugging. He brings up his hands to try and explain, but apparently finds nothing to say before shrugging again and rubbing the back of his neck. His mustache is pointedly gone, freshly shaved compared to the rest of his stubble. "I'm sorry, Mom. The freaking video you've seen up to now did actually happen. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to try and bullshit or anything else. The galaxy's a weird place, and as tough as my little slice of it is, it's also really tight. Really, really tight. There aren't the proper words in English to explain how son of a. Daniel's heartfelt confessional is cut off when he's tackled by no less than 10 of the bee women, and several of them walk up to the camera. "Hey, you're Danny's mom? Good job. We've got him good and safe. We'll make him a daddy as many times as you can count. For the love of God," Daniel shouts, standing up, and everything crashes again. I don't even have time to really get pissed off. They're too enthusiastic, too affectionate, and too much everything to do anything but go with the flow. Daniel says after the video comes back on. "Right. So this took most of the day with all the interruptions, so I'm going to get something to eat. I swear to God I'm not being abused. I swear I'm doing fine. I just never expected to do anything like this. Ever. Love you, Mom." The video ends one final time and Janet is left staring as the lights ramp up to full. Freaking crazy, isn't it? He's being raped. He says it only looks bad. Don't you trust your son? I do, but he was clearly being abused. He was being dogpiled and full-on flashbanged them time after time. Even when they piled on him, he overpowered them with ease. I'd say he's doing fine. But do you trust your son? Yes, he's a responsible, sensible young man who wouldn't lie to me about something like this. Trust him. He's doing fine, the receptionist says, and Janet heaves a sigh. I need to go relax. It was somewhat horrifying, but can I have a copy of the recording? Actually, yes, this one was considered completely harmless. I don't know why, but there you go, the receptionist says before pulling out a DVD and a flash drive. That should set you up either way. Thank you. Are you sure he's a trained military soldier? He's openly admitted to killing people. If he wanted out of the situation, he would have gotten out of the situation. He's where he wants to be. I suppose. Best I can do is wait for another message the next time they come in, Janet says before sighing. I need a drink, excuse me. Make sure you're home before you start, the receptionist says, and she scoffs. I'm not as stupid as I look, she says over her shoulder. Don't pitch them over the plate. The urge to swing is enormous.